Morning, people. Happy Friday. I got some things on my mind lately, to be honest with you. There's a lot of stuff going on, as you probably know. We've been asked to move out of our house, and so, videos aren't as frequent right now, and neither are sales, and that's okay. But I wanted to come on today to ask some questions to you guys about, like, the state of everything. I'm not going to be down or complaining or any of that stuff, but I've done like 11 years of research on different topics now, and it seems to all be pointing one direction. Have you ever wondered, like, why politicians say they're going to clear the debt and different things, and then they get in and nothing happens, and work's falling down, and people are being laid off, and other things, and it just seems like we're heading in the same direction regardless of how much that happens to people? Like, I'm not going to be a doom and gloom guy, but I had a conversation with someone I care about probably 5 years ago now, and that person told me that what everybody thinks climate change is actually polar shift. And we've hit the 12,000 year cycle now where it's supposed to happen, like the Noah's Great Flood and all that stuff. Like, it's in every holy book, so it's, I don't know, that it can't be ignored, really. I listened to a podcast the other day. I won't say who or why, because I don't feel like my channel is big enough to shout out great people in that nature, so I'm just gonna leave that nameless. But he was saying that the Mayan calendar, they went to great lengths to make that in the ancient days, right? And everybody thinks it's based on astrology and horoscopes and different things, and they just wanted to know how the planets line up and what it makes people do and different things. And that's a decent theory, don't get me wrong, but is that really what an ancient civilization would go through just to get that seemingly mediocre version of information? I look at my horoscopes every day, and I'll be honest with you, half of them are wrong about how I'm feeling or what's about to happen that day. So what they were mentioning is the fact that if every so many thousands of years there's a cataclysmic event that wipes out your entire civilization. Well, for an ancient civilization who's using stone tools and different things, that would be worthy of documenting in some way or another. And it seems to be correlated with going from one age to another, and humanity is just leaving Pisces, I think it is, and moving into the age of Aquarius, as far as I know. But the conversation I had with someone I hold dearly, just to go back, is they don't think it's climate change, they think it's polar shift. Now, if you think about it, the magnetosphere is weakening, and the scientists probably in 2010 said that they seen a weak spot in the magnetosphere around the planet, which is what protects us from UV rays and different things. Now everybody's talking about the oceans heating and this and that and carbon emissions, and that apparently it's humanity's fault. Well, there's a certain thing about that, right? Is like, this planet used to be covered in volcanoes, so the carbon emissions at that point would have been ridiculous. And let's face it, the planet's still here, and so are we, right? Well, to me, it's like, there's a lot of people mentioning as well, like, the North Pole has slid 150 kilometers down over top of Siberia. And it's just odd to me that these things on this planet correlate towards people being, I don't know, not aggressive, but making friction for sure, right? Because, the Russia-Ukraine war and people moving from all sorts of different places on the planet to other places. Now, I'll leave the demographics and the frustration and the tension and friction out of it, but what I want to say is, like, we all used to be one landmass, which in the ancient days was called Pangea. I think the only difference is that we weren't here for that. Now it's like the planet's changing, along with, there's small changes to every planet in the solar system. It was like, what, a month ago now, where a solar flare knocked out the power over top of Brazil, Portugal, and a bunch of other places all at the same time. Now, it's just funny to me that it lines up with certain presidents and different things getting in and saying they're going to balance the budget no matter what, and starting industries in order to cut all overspending in different things, but yet they just continue to spend and it really doesn't matter the country. So, like, how is it there's such flagrant disregard to the things that are going on in different natures, and they just continue on no matter what? I mean, even with COVID, like, I won't go towards like the sickness itself, but what I will say is, like, how does such big things happen and it just people roll on, and just, to me it's like, I don't know, man. I just thought, like, overall, like, how is it you're gonna give a vaccine that does damage to people with not a lot of time to roll it out? I'm trying to avoid the over sensational nature of these things, but it all seems to be coinciding at the same time. Like, there's so many people in my country I know that are going broke, and just it's business as usual. Like, whereas they don't really figure they have to fix this, or maybe it's too big. I guess that's another part of my question. It's like, how do these people get in with such great plans saying they're going to change all these things, and then they get in, and some of them try for, like, let's say 4 or 5 months, and then all of a sudden it's business as usual, no matter who they frustrate or no matter how much damage is done. In Canada, our healthcare system is overwhelmed. Like, you go to the hospital and you're sitting there for 12 hours no matter what day it is, pretty much, just to get seen. And I mean, there's no family doctors out here. Call that free healthcare if you want, but I was also told the other day, like, all of these people from other countries that are coming here are basically to keep up the population, because older generations want their pensions and stuff. And I had mentioned this to a couple of guys on my crew over the last couple of years, is like, because of the baby boomers, and I won't be rude or explicit, don't worry. I'm just saying, like, there's 10 of them for every one of me. And with my taxes, I can pay for one person's old age pension, but I can't pay for 10. And the overarching opinion from their generation, let's say, is, well, I paid into it, I worked for it, so I should be able to collect it, and they won't be moved. And I watched a video on YouTube the other day saying, like, that a lot of them guys don't have kids, so they're not overly worried about what happens to the population. Well, as the country goes more and more broke over the years, it's like, if we couldn't pay it then, how are we supposed to pay it now? And so, like, it's just, all of these things are coinciding at the same time, and I'm just noticing a bunch of this and putting it together. Like, the wildfires in Canada are just incredible every year. My buddy called me a week ago saying that Ontario 2 weeks ago had 50-degree weather. Well, that's Canadian weather, of course. Do the math if you want, but I think that's 120 or something degrees Fahrenheit. I may be wrong, but we set records every year for heat. We've never seen that type of heat. They took micro breaks every 45 minutes for what appeared to be another 45 minutes. They only worked 20 hours that week. If this continues on and we continue to set records every single year for heat, like, how are we going to work? What are we going to do? Like, you can't survive that heat. I mean, my foreman, he's a pretty tough dude, man, and usually I never see him balk under cold or hot or anything. But I mean, a week ago it was 30 something degrees here after being relatively cool for like a week, and he was under a tree. The guy that just came back to work for us was sitting behind a panel in the shade, and I had to continuously run to the trailer to grab water just to make it through the end of the day. Now, that only ended up being like 33 degrees, and it was tough. And I was telling myself that I have to make myself ready for even hotter weather, and that's why I pushed a little harder on that day. But, I mean, we ain't seen 50 degrees yet. And it kind of makes me wonder about the people coming here from other countries, because they're coming from like India and Africa and different places, and those were already hotter than Canada. It's different, man. It's like, if it gets, we were hotter than Saudi Arabia here some days. The news straight up said it. So if we're hotter than Saudi Arabia and the weather pattern is relatively the same from that side of the planet to this, it's like, what are they dealing with out there? I see videos sometimes with like emaciated cows and stuff, just a rack of bones, can't even keep weight on it. So I don't know, man. If you got any factors or theories on what's going on, leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear it. I'm just putting a bunch of things together lately, dude. Like, why don't they care about the amount of money spent? Is it all just kind of whatever happens now? Because that's the overarching feeling, isn't it? They're not worried about the citizens being broke and not being able to afford rent and different stuff. Dude, I'm looking for a one-bedroom apartment right now for me and my lady, and they start at $1,500. I make $4,000 a month. That's almost half my wage per month. I'm not complaining, but it's just like, who are these apartments for? Two bedrooms, they start at $2,400 a month. It's like, who's supposed to be able to afford this? My only question, and I've been asking it for a couple of years now, is who's supposed to be able to afford these prices, dude? Like, it's not a complaint, it's a legitimate question. How many high class BMW dealership owners are there? How many high class bankers are there? Like, there's so many people working at McDonald's and like gas stations and different things, dude. It's like, with me, like, if I'm paying half my wage to rent a place per year, or per month, sorry, like, how are these other people gonna do it? Are we all supposed to join together as like 5 people in a 2-bedroom apartment? Like, I don't understand. So yeah, like and subscribe, please. It helps the algorithm, and I want to build this channel into a force that I can use and that I can communicate with you guys with. And I appreciate you guys all sticking with me, man. I do have some questions, and I'm going to be making more videos soon. Don't worry. Sorry about the lapse in making videos here. It's just I got a lot on my plate right now. I'm doing the best I can to deal with it. Yeah, so like and subscribe. It helps the algorithm, and I appreciate it. I don't want to say it all the time, so I'll probably slow down with that soon. But yeah, happy Friday, people. Just questions, and yeah, tell me what you think, man. Have a good day.